Hello, everyone. My name is Jordan Cook. Today, I'll be talking about the wonderful world of Louis Armstrong. If I say these words, I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. What does that remind you of? Is it a happy time in your life? Is it a good movie you saw? To me, it just reminds me of the song, What a Wonderful World by Louis Armstrong. And many talents, which included playing multiple music instruments, singing, and even acting. But his performances on stage were only part of his legacy that lasts still to this day. But did you know that What a Wonderful World never went number one in the US? It never even broke the top 10. But the actual crazy part is that it went number one in the UK its first week out. And in its first week in the US, it didn't even break into the top 10. That's crazy, isn't it? But you know what's even crazier about Louis? In 1955, Louis Armstrong was so popular that he did a concert in Hamburg, Germany. And when the speakers stopped working, all the concert goers started a riot. All 7,000 of them. 7,000 white Germans wanted to hear Louis sing. That's how popular Louis was back in the day. He was the king of the trumpet, a name given to him by Time magazine, and he made sure to keep that title because in 1964, while coming off of a heart attack, he releases his hit single, Hello Dolly, which topped the Beatles and went number one in the US, became his first Grammy Award winning song. This great accomplishment is even more impressive because it was in the latter portion of his life. Louis was 62 when he dropped this song and ended up becoming the oldest male artist to top the charts in history. This just proves to never give up on your dreams. However, as I said before, this was in the latter half of his life. In the earlier half, Louis was still a cultural figure all around the US. Louis was born August 4th, 1901, in New Orleans, Louisiana. And just at 11 years old, Louis was arrested and sent to a home for boys, where he learned to play the cornet from his caretaker. And this was when Louis found his dream. In the following years, Louis would apprentice under a man named King Oliver. And when the time became right, Oliver asked Louis to be a part of his band. This was the best decision Oliver could have made at the time because Louis ended up becoming a superstar and a key catalyst for the blues renaissance in the early 20th century. Sadly, with Louis becoming so popular, he left Oliver to start his own band, which was called Louis Armstrong and the Hot Five. Louis quickly became one of the biggest names in jazz and pop at the time, even appearing in 12 films as well. But his music career is what truly defined Louis. He was part of many bands and even started some, as I said before. Even with his music booming, Louis still stood up for his fellow black people, as he would use his platform to talk about the horrible things happening in the nation, one including when he spoke on stage condemning the US government for the role in the Little Rock Nine crisis that happened in 1957, where young black teens were finally able to go to school at an all white school, but were subjected to many harmful racist acts and words by their white peers. But to further talk about Louis' legacy, in 1939, the Pittsburgh Courier held a vote for who is the best trumpeter in the nation. And with unanimous decision, everyone decided Louis was the best. This proved Louis was already renowned as an all-time great musician, and Louis' legacy would stand the test of time because in 1972, a year after his passing, Louis would be honored with the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. And he also gained a spot in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1990 and the Louisiana Music Hall of Fame in 2007 because of his new styles he brought to the jazz scene. To his overwhelming popularity, Louis was one of the most influential people in the history of music and deserved his spot in the Hall of Fame. With this song still being played today by bands all across the world and still being listened to by all who enjoy jazz, Louis' legacy will forever live on with his songs like What a Wonderful World, Hello Dolly, and many more. Louis was an icon to all black musicians of his time and will have forever changed the way we listen to music. So, on behalf of all of us who enjoy jazz and pop music, I want to say thank you for everything. Satchmo.